Hi everybody, my name is Sylvie and I'm going to show you how to put together your pinball kit. So we have this shooter and then this flipper, and you can see when the ball goes fast it can roll right over the holes, and when it gets stuck on the star that can be points, that can be minus points, and you can do points or no points for these holes as well. I put these nails with these low rubber bands so that the ball has speed, it can hop over it. And this is just stuck down as another obstacle. So there are a lot of parts in this kit. So we'll go through step by step of how to put it together. Dun, 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 dun. But basically there's a shooter and its assembly, and this is the flipper, and the nails with the rubber bands keep the marble in the boundaries. These paper, these cardboard pieces, we want them to shoot around the corner and not get stuck. This makes it a little bit more of an interesting game. And of course, when they go through the holes, they come back on this cardboard and then back on this bottom panel into your little marble trough. And so when they fall off your game board, they'll go into the marble trough. I painted mine after. Once I got all the pieces on, I spray painted it. But you can think about if you want to paint your pieces before or after. So let's see what is in the kit. Before I do that, I'll just say it's good to have a piece of dry paper towel and wet paper towel. For this project, you should definitely wear your safety glasses. You will need a hammer, a pair of scissors, and some tape, either masking tape or scotch tape or duct tape will work. We just need something sticky. So in your box, you have your two game board pieces. This one, sort of the same on both sides, and this one is different. This bottom side has these 4 holes in it, and the top side has these pencil marks to help you align pieces. And in the bag, you have your sandpaper, a piece of cardboard, some colorful paper. Oh look, it matches the sandpaper to decorate with. Too much sandpaper, that one got double. These 3 different sticks. This little tub has 2 different kinds of nails, 2 wooden dowels, and 1 washer. I'm just gonna get the washer out and leave the 2 different size nails in. So these are the nails. This is a 4D 1.5 inch long nail, and these are the ones that go around here. These are the big nails. And some small, these are called wire nails, and these are the ones we'll use in the smaller spots. So I'll leave these 2 little parts out. Be careful of all the little parts. Sometimes it might be easier to put this stuff all in a bowl. Here are a bag of blocks, and then there's lots of different parts in here. Here is the shooter dowel. I'm gonna take everything out but the rubber bands and marbles. And I gave you, as usual, I gave you a couple of extra pieces for different parts. So these go on this, are the side rails for the shooter, and I gave you 3 just because we're putting a nail in it. So in case it decides to split, you can replace it. That holds our shooter. And you have, these are 1/4 inch dowels. There should be 2 long ones and 2 shorter ones, and rubber bands everywhere. So So we'll need a marble in a second for alignment, but I'll leave these right here. So the first thing we're gonna do is just a little bit of sanding. So take your blue sandpaper is 120 grit, and your yellow sandpaper is 180 grit. So this one's a little rougher. So we just wanna get the shaggy fuzz off of here. You can sand cardboard just like you can sand wood. They're both made from trees. You don't have to use all of these cardboard pieces if you don't want to, but they are very helpful. So then I'm just going to take this block and just sand the fuzzies off of it. I'll sand these edges just because it's always nicer when you have sanded edges. This hole, sometimes I'll fold my paper like this, and then I can go around in that hole and get the fuzzies off of it. On the other side, just using a corner. Okay. And then we will, this piece with the rounded end is your flipper. And this is the piece you're gonna be touching a lot. So it's really good to knock all these edges down in corners and make it nice and comfortable for your hand. And I'm gonna do it sort of half and half and then switch it around, do this other half, go around the curve. And this, I just wanna get the fuzzies off of the top. What this piece is it's this back rest. It has, this bottom piece has an angle, and the longer side of the angle will be the back of your game board. So this is, and the same with this piece, it has an angle, and the thicker angle goes to the back so that it raises up, and that's what gives us the angle so that the marble will roll instead of just being on a flat surface. So not a ton of sanding. I'll just sand the bottom surface of this, which my hand, I might end up touching while I am making the game. So we're gonna put together the shooter first. So you will want to get out your tub of glue. And we can sand this dowel just a little bit, just to get some of those fuzzies off. And you can round over the back. You can do the front if you want to, but you don't have to. Sand it. Okay. So then this little dowel, which I will also just sand, this is an 1/8 inch dowel. Very, very small. And I gave you an extra one in case you break it. What we're gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue in this hole. And put my shooter in it, just like that. And I'll wipe off this excess glue with my wet paper towel. And this bar is what makes, is what allows our shooter to stop when it goes through here. Great. So, there's a lot of different steps. I'm gonna put this guy, my washer, back so I don't lose it. I'll put it in the top. so that sometimes I set all my things up like this so that I just have everything I need pretty close. These things aside. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. I forgot to put my microphone on when I went to get my glue tub. I had forgotten it. Okay, so for this top game board, this piece gets glued on this, where this pencil line is. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And I'm going to hold it 10 seconds. And we want to make sure that it's perpendicular to this line and parallel to this line, because we want our shooter to go pretty straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll take my paper towel. And then I'm going to take 2 nails and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap one just to hold it in there and tap the other one just to hold it in there. So, because we just glued this, so we don't want it to wiggle too much. Okay, so now that's in there. Next, what we want to do are glue our side rails on. And this is where you'll need a marble, just to make sure. So we want it as narrow as possible. This one is a little wide. We want it as narrow as possible, sort of centered right on this hole. So I'm going to put it just like this. Look, it can roll out. That's what marbles do. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Bloop. Bloop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll hold this while I clean the glue up. Then I'm going to take my marble and just make sure that this one is in an all right place. And you can draw with a pencil around it if you need to remember your place, or you can just use your marble. We want to make sure that this can roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then this whole thing will go like this, right? Okay. So these 3 places are these. So this is where the shooter, it's a stop on the up, a stop on the back, and the one that the central, the fulcrum, which means the center or the point that it pivots. I'm not sure that's exactly what a fulcrum means. So I'm going to stick this nail through here, and this is what our little washer is for. And so the washer will allow less friction, because this whole surface won't be riding on your board. It will ride just above your board. So what we want to do is I'll put my washer right over the middle dot, and I'll put that right there. And I tap once just to make sure I get it right in that spot that I want it. And this one, you want your nail to go in fairly straight, but you can always move it, and we go almost. You don't want to hammer this one tight because we still want it wiggly for our flipper. And so we want the rounded end in our game board. remember is how deep are these nails. You shouldn't go, we only need to hammer them in about this much. You don't want to hammer into whatever surface you're working on, because that would be sad. So next, what we can do is hammer in our nails. You just want to make sure that your first nail isn't in line with how your marble shoots out. So you want to make sure it's more in line with the center of this rail. And you want to leave at least about this much. I would say it's around just over 1/4 of an inch from the edge. You don't want to put your nails in right in the edge because they'll fall out. And so we want to hammer these in so they're firm and not wiggly like a wiggly tooth. And this is what we will weave our rubber bands around. That will be the boundary of our game board. And then these nails will come all the way around to here. Remember, if your nails go sideways, you can tappity, tappity, tap, or you can use the claw of your hammer to pull the nails out. You can see this one's it's all bent. I wanted to do that just as a demonstration so you can see what happens. You can fix it. You can take your nails out. Okay, and then I need 2 little nails. And they go somewhere along this rail. And they don't have to go in crazy far. We want them to be firm, but this is what will hold our rubber band that our shooter will ride on. So now that we have this part done, this would be a good time to think about your game, let this stuff dry for a minute, and start thinking if you want it to have a beginning, middle, and an end, if it's based on a hike you took, or a book you read, or if it's just a game from your imagination. So now we'll take this board and what we want to do, I want it to face me like this. This is how this goes. Bloop, bloop. So what I want to do is use my blocks and build, these are just sort of like a corral for our marbles. And we'll want it to come just inside here, go from back here, bloop, 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 and then here we'll build it up 3 layers. But back here, you don't really need to. It's only from where they roll off of here that they might bounce. So I will dump my blocks out. I like dumping blocks out. And so again, you can color these. You can start from either the back or the front edge. I'll start right in the middle. Remember to push these down so they have a good glue connection. I'm going to make this one sort of a little curved. This one is a tiny bit curved, but mostly square. I want them to come right to the inside of this. This is a hole for a dowel, so I'll move these while I still can a little bit. And now they can just go bloop in a straight line. And they don't have to be, you just want a gap that a marble can't get through, right? So there can be a little gap in between them. And again, I'll put one right to here. Maybe I'll shove these gaps a little closer so this one ends right here. This one on the end so I know where I want it to stop. Okay, and now it's this front part that I will build up. I'm gonna start bricklaying, so I'll put one across this gap that's right near those dowel holes, these dowel holes. And then I'll start bricklaying, and it makes it so much stronger. It's like building with Legos, where you span the gap to make your structures strong. Okay, so I'm gonna put these blocks back in the bag. You can keep building with them. Save all your extra pieces. So I'm gonna let this dry for a couple minutes and go back to this guy. So we still need a little nail. You can get a couple little nails out. I found that about an inch away from this fulcrum, see, that washer makes it really weird to hammer this. Y'all, if you need to take this out, you could do the same thing. Bloop. And that nail is still good and straight. So what I want to do is about an inch away, hammer a nail in, and then I could do one. And you can experiment with how you like your flipper to work by putting a couple more nails in here. So I'll put a second one back. This is where I liked it. And this, if we attach the rubber band to this side, it means it will flip in the other, the strength of the flipper swing will be in the other direction. And then remember, if you don't like these, you can just pull them out, okay? So now I'll get this nail again. I'll put my washer right over my hole. And now I can tap, tap, tap it in again. Okay, so this will go like this. And if you feel it catching on the front, just pull the back a little bit. And it's a little bit because of the pull of the rubber band, and it could be that your nail is at a little angle. also okay if it does that. Might just be the way this one is. But if you're like, oh, it sticks right there, you can try putting one even a little closer or a little further. So it's getting stuck right in that under point. The other thing I can do, if that keeps happening, is I'll put a piece of sandpaper right here, and I'm gonna pull up on this just a little bit just to sand. Or I can go like this, it's a lot better. Just push down and sand that. So it's still sticking right at that far part. So I'm gonna put this right here just to make a little clearance. So now it's hitting less. See how I'm just messing with how it's, I'm tweaking it on that nail. Because that nail, if it's a little off, our whole flipper is going to be a little off. And now for the shooter, what I'm going to do is this rubber band will be wrapped behind this dowel. So it goes behind the dowel and over the nails. And this might be a little strong. You don't want your shooter to be crazy, crazy fast. Let's see if I have a different rubber band. So try, it's also a really strong one. So try different rubber bands. That one doesn't swing as far as we want it to. Maybe it's a blue one after all. Experiment with your rubber bands. The whole point of the fun. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weave my rubber bands. Go in, out, over, under. So here I'll go over, over, bloop. And to go around the corner, we go on the outside. Here's a real long one. And you just need enough rubber bands to keep your marbles. You don't want to lose your marbles. If you want a lot of rubber band, you just keep pushing it down. Okay, so my shooter might be pretty fast. I don't have this angle yet. Bloop. And see how it shot straight back? That's why we'll glue these in the corners. Blow these off. A little bit of glue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and now for the scissors. There's two ways to do this. I liked putting a little one here so it would sort of curve it, but this one needs to be cut down. And this stuff is going to be a little bit hard to cut with some scissors, but you can do it. So I have a little one, we can glue it right there. The other thing you can do is just break this, keeping the curve and just sort of making the rest of it straighter, like that. The breaking is probably way easier. It might be easier to break it and then you can cut it more easily too. Yep. Yep. Okay. So, next, we'll let this part dry again for a little bit. We're gonna work with this one. So what we wanna do is take this piece and we wanna figure out, here's this angle, that this is the back because the angle goes down to the back. And this back one will line up right here. The holes in this piece line up with the holes in the back. Okay? And then this one, here's my angle. This is the longer side. This one goes under. You should see the piece of wood under these holes, but they, the dowels won't actually go into them. So what we can do is put some glue. So if your piece has set up for a little bit and you can turn it over, this is my longer, this is the way my angle is, that this piece goes like that. But what I want to do is I'm just going to sand these fuzzies off of the back of here. So for this piece, I put the glue on the side that doesn't have the angle. So this bottom surface is angled, and I want this angled surface towards the back. So I'm just going to put it over these holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll put some glue on this one. I'm going to put some glue in these holes. I like glue. I make a mess. Always have, always will. So this is a little bit of a tricky step. We want to get this, see if you can see those holes even when there's glue. And what you want to do for the back, you'll take your long dowels. I might just dip my dowel in some glue. Put it right here. Get my hammer and tap, tap. And you don't want to tap so hard that you smash that. If you get glue everywhere like me, use your paper towel to clean it up. Though this glue we're using will come out of clothing, it's Tight Bond 1, so I don't think I'm quite lined up with that hole. just moved this piece a little bit. Now I'll dip this dowel, and this one's just going through this thin piece. Dip this one. Okay, and now I can clean up if you want to. Okay, I bet you all can guess what comes next. Is putting these two together. So what we want to do, and this is another tricky step. It's trickier than it looks. So I'm going to put some glue in these holes. And now what I'll do is I'm going to line them up. And be careful of whatever surface you're working on, because your nail heads might leave a small dent in something if you're not careful. So I'm getting this one lined up, and we will have to push these dowels just a little bit. Now it's over the hole, and I can push it in, lightly push it in. Same with this one back here, I just have to line it up. Line this one up. Might have to take a little bit of convincing. Up. Now that they're lined up, we can flip it over and hope that we didn't wreck everything. So I would let your blocks dry a little bit more than I let mine. See how this one fell off. But now I can just lightly tap to make sure they're all down. Okay, so now my double-decker game board is together. So there's still a couple things that we need to do, namely deal with this piece of cardboard. As you can see, if these marbles fall through, they'll fall off. So we're going to use a piece of cardboard to help us. I need to reorganize my workspace just a little bit. Okay. So the corrugation of this cardboard goes along this. This would be called the landscape view. This would be portrait landscape. And so what I do is I take this over a corner, and we're gonna just crunch all of those like this. So you can do it like this if you want, but we want to bend all of these because we want it to be a curve. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we can nail this to here. You can use your tape. See how this is a little bit bigger? We'll fold the sides up, and then they will be the rail. So there's a couple of different ways we can do this, but I'll put some glue back here. And this is where we're going to use the tape. This tape is awesome. So I'm going to rip myself 3 small pieces of tape. You know, I wreck a lot of tape in my shop because I get glue on the side of it, and then it doesn't peel nicely. So 1 piece, put it on a nail, save it. 2, put it on a nail, save it. 3. Put it on a nail, save it. So I'm gonna somewhat center this so this overhang is very similar. And what I'm gonna do is I'll thread I'm going to stick this piece down. And then I will hold it to the cardboard. This piece of tape, fold it on itself. Okay, so back to the scissors. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a couple of cuts this deep and then fold the pieces up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna snip, 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 and do that on the other side too. Well, this side is bigger. I did not do the greatest job centering, but I still can move it around just a little bit. So I'll move my tape so it's more centered. Okay, so now that we have this part taped in, what we want to do is grab 3 little nails. Oh, big nails keep getting in the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them right here, and they'll help hold. You'll still be able to pull them out, or the cardboard, until the glue is dry. It can still come off, but this will help. And it doesn't matter if they go in sideways or aren't super pretty. You could even just get it in somewhat and then fold it over like that. So now what I want to do is to fold these pieces. And I'm going against the corrugation so it won't be quite as pretty. But we also need this piece. We want it to sit like right there. What I want to do is I want to mark where these dowels are and make a little V. So I'm just going to poke a hole with a nail right in front of you can use a pencil, right where this is. So you might have to just hold this up. This is a tricky move. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a V so that my cardboard will go around my dowel. It's called a bird's mouth. So I'll just cut, I'm actually just cutting one line and folding it over. So I cut one line, and now I will fold this line, fold it back so it's a triangle cutout that goes right where these dowels are. And what I'm actually going to do is cut out, so now I'll bend this backwards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, see, you could have done all this before you glued it, probably. So now what I can do is I can put a little bit of glue in this corner. Oh my God. Remember to take your glue brush out of your glue container. A mess. So I'll put a little bit of glue right on this corner and right on the other corner. And this is where my cardboard will sit. And then what we're gonna do is we'll take our glue, and we'll put a little bit of glue right here, and we'll get another junior nail. I'm taking 2 out because we will do this twice, and I'm at a weird angle just so that you can see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this nail right in that piece of cardboard and hold it just like this, but you should not do it facing, you know, do it in a comfortable way. I'm just doing it so you can see. Now I'll do this the other way. And so I'll take, where did my other little nail go? So many parts, y'all. Take this. Hammer, hammer, hammer. Nice. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold up all of these little pieces, and this will make a rail so that the marble doesn't fall out. And this is where the more tape comes in. So I'm gonna put a piece of tape right here, fold this over, and stick the tape on. Same thing. Like this. I can go around my dowel. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one more piece of tape right over this corner. Get a couple more little pieces of tape and put them right on the top of this and fold over both ways, the inside and the outside. You can do so much with cardboard. It's not always the prettiest, but some people can make it beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna run one whole piece of tape back here. Really know why. And so now I will do this side. I'm gonna, here's one piece of tape. I'm gonna fold all of these up. And tape them. Fold all of these up and tape them. There goes my terrible ripping tape. Don't get glue on the side of your roll of tape. It's not fun. So this one, it helps keep this in if you wrap this around the dowel. I'm gonna put the piece right across this corner. Help hold everything. Okay. Bum-ba-da-bum. Dun-da-da-dun. I had one little block fall. It broke. I am going to re-glue it on to where it came off of. Just right in here. A little bit of a tricky spot. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now I'm going to take this piece. I just rip it off. You can keep it on. So now you're ready to play a little bit and think. One thing is when you pull this, you have to hold your board just a little bit. If you want to put rubber feet on the bottom, you can. Whoa, zigzag. Up, wah. Wah. This is fast. It'll show you all the places you forgot to put your rubber bands. can roll off over here. So what I can do is I can get a little nail, or a big nail, and just put it right here. I have to be careful hammering on this, which is why it'll be using a little nail. Right, so we solve the problems. Oh, my timing. Better. So you get better as you play. And so what you can do is think about if you want to use these pieces as obstacles. If you don't want these holes, you can glue these wheels in if you don't want things to drop through. You don't need to use all of them either. And you can store your marbles right in here. So what we can do, you can put more nails in here with little with rubber bands, or what you can do is use your paper. You can make a paper curb that it can get through or it can't get through. I made these little pieces of cut paper for them to go through because it was pretty fun. But you can make some, or you can just draw that you have to put put some stuff, or you can just have some nails as obstacles, right? And so it's a little weird to hammer on top of this whole raised piece, but it works. Because I want you to be able to, I want you to play a little bit before you figure out what else you're gonna do to your game. You know, you could make something that spins when it hits it with like a bottle cap. Put a hole in a bottle cap with a nail, and then put it here if you have any bells. There's so many options. But what you can do, think about using these. See how this game isn't as fast? One thing that's different about this game is the angle. So if you want your game to be even faster, you can just raise it up on these blocks. And see how it hits those nails, and it's pretty fun. See, this is fast, but you get used to it. But be careful. I guess glue doesn't stick to paint that well, which Sylvie knows. Isn't it kind of a fun noise when it hits the nails? Wah, wah. But think about all the, if you want to have a points thing. Look at that. That was fun. Right there. So there's so many different ways you can look up. They have like Simpsons pinball games, any movie, like Pac-Man pinball, they make pinball games out of everything, and now you can make your own. So if you have questions, please let me know, or if you have comments, please let me know, or if you came up with something awesome that you want to share, please let me know. So that is all. Please enjoy, and remember to be kind and to be happy.